Hello, great people. Legal luminary Afe Babalola has announced that he will withdraw the defamation suit against Dele Farotimi. What does this mean for Dele Farotimi, and also what does it mean for Afe Babalola? What would have prompted Afe Babalola to make that pronouncement? What are the untold reasons? After Obasanjo had pleaded with Afe Babalola, Mathew and Kukah, the Bishop of Sokoto, has pleaded with Afe Babalola to not have a. Peter Obi also pleaded with Afe Babalola. Now, when nobody is pleading, Afe is taking this decision. What does this mean? What are the associated issues surrounding it? We'll be dissecting that and a whole lot more on this episode of Politing with your short plug on politics and happenings in the polity, Dr. Omoshola. You will recall that Afe has been in a running battle with Dele Farotimi over defamation in Dele's book titled Nigeria's Criminal Justice System. Afe alleged that Dele defamed him by asserting that he used criminal means, that he used bribe to influence the judges of the Supreme Court and also to procure judgment for his client in a land dispute case some years ago. Now, what does this action of Afe Babalola, what does it mean? It means that at the end of the day, the case will be gone in court, but is there more to it? Yes, of course. Because when Obasanjo contacted Afe Babalola, Obasanjo is a boss to Afe Babalola. When Obasanjo was the president, Afe was Obasanjo's lawyer, one of his lawyers, a prominent one at that. So if somebody that is a former president, a strong client of yours, the former president of Nigeria, could intercede in a case and you were adamant, if the respected Archbishop of Sokoto Diocese, Mathew Kukah, intervened in a case and you said no, these people, especially Obasanjo, has more weight than the monarchs that were at that event in Ekiti State. Ooni of Ife is there, a first-class monarch. The other people there were most likely monarchs from Ekiti State. So these are people that don't have much weight like the former president. And these are people that the relationship between Afe Babalola and these people does not span over the years like that of Obasanjo and Afe Babalola. The cordialness of their relationship is apparently not as strong as that of Afe Babalola and Obasanjo. Afe and Obasanjo have been friends for so many years. So if Obasanjo could fail to intercede in that case, then you want to imagine that will it now be easy? What Obasanjo couldn't do, it is now all these monarchs, apart from Ooni of Ife, who happens to be a first-class monarch, it is now all these monarchs that would achieve it. You want to also imagine that Peter Obi, who happens to be Baba Obasanjo's boy in the 2023 presidential election, Peter Obi couldn't, despite being Obasanjo's boy and a presidential candidate, couldn't successfully intercede in the case. Then, if Peter Obi wasn't successful, Obasanjo wasn't successful in interceding in the case, Mathew and Kukah wasn't successful in the case, then it leaves more to unravel. If now Ooni of Ife, now you now listening to Ooni of Ife and other monarchs in Ekiti State. So is there more to it? Yes. And that's why we would unravel more things, we will analyze more things to unravel what can be the dynamics, what can prompt Afe Babalola to withdraw that case. Now, let us look at something first. Why would Obasanjo want the case to be discontinued? Let us imagine it. Obasanjo is a former president, a retired military general. He has all the powers at the, at his disposal. He has all the connection and links, and even his name was mentioned in the book. So why would you not want to punish Dele Farotimi like Afe is seeking to do? Why would you be seeking to withdraw the case against the interest of Afe Babalola, who wants to pursue justice that Dele Farotimi has defamed him? Is it to avoid embarrassing revelations? Because you know that if the case goes on in court, if you know how case goes on in court, like you review everything that you need to review, whatever can make you win the case, whatever can confuse the judge, you have to reveal it. So the court is not a place whereby you hold back. No, there's no holding back when you are in the court of law. So why would Obasanjo want the case to be discontinued when it would have been a good opportunity for Afe to punish Dele Farotimi? So is it to avoid some embarrassing revelations? Are there people contacting Dele Farotimi? Is there a gang up against Afe and Co as regards some of their alleged sharp practices when they were still in their youthful age practicing law. Could that be the case? Because why would Obasanjo want to, of all people, I don't think Obasanjo, whose name was mentioned, if Dele Farotimi truly defamed Afe Babalola, then Obasanjo will want Dele Farotimi to be punished as possible, because he is also trying to tarnish his image, allegedly, as a former president, as a former military head of state. So Obasanjo's involvement, leaves some, some footprints to something, which is that what could be the interest of Obasanjo under the circumstance. Now, another thing that we must not fail to reason is that is Afe playing a fast game? Afe, being a legal luminary, is a very intelligent man. You can't take that away from him. Is Afe playing a fast game in the sense that there is a case in High Court? You remember that there are two cases. The first one was filed by the lawyers of Afe Babalola at the magistrate court in Ekiti when the police arrested Dele Farotimi and whisked him away to Ekiti. After he was arrested and detained, the police, the Ekiti State Command, on the order of the Inspector General of Police, also filed a defamation case against Dele Farotimi at the High Court in Ekiti State. So there are two cases there now. So this one, I think, is the one that Afe has power over, the one at the magistrate court. That was the one that instituted it. But the one at the Federal High Court, Afe, does he have power over it, other than to say he's not interested maybe in being a witness or something like that? Because that was filed by the police. And since it was filed by the police, it is the same police that can withdraw that case. So after making that pronouncement, is he playing a fast one? Because there is another case at the High Court. So, you cannot rule out the intelligence of Afe in order to get that. If you people are begging me too much, if you people are interceding too much, okay, don't worry, I will withdraw the case. But I have withdrawn the case that I instituted against Dele. The other ones, go and meet the police. So if the police now say they are not withdrawing the case, you won't blame Afe. You will be blaming the police. But at the same time, it may even be Afe that will be foiling the police to continue with the case. And that's why I said, is Afe playing a fast game? Then another thing is that in all of this, will Dele Farotimi apologize? That, okay, if Afe withdraws the case, will Dele decide to apologize as a show of respect? And that brings me to the point that, would apology be a sign of guilt or respect? In the sense that in all of this, when people are appealing that, okay, just discontinue the case, the monarchs have appealed, the former president, religious leaders are saying, okay, discontinue the case. Now that Afe has discontinued the case, will Dele Farotimi apologize to Afe? Will he go and prostrate or write a statement or address the press to apologize to Afe? And if Dele Farotimi does that, the question is that the apology, would it be an acceptance of guilt that, oh, what I wrote against Afe Babalola is wrong, I own up to it, that it never happened? Or will it just be a sign of respect that in Yoruba land, if the elder does anything against you, you'll be the one to apologize. If you do something wrong against the elders, you will still be the one to apologize. So if Dele now apologize, is it an acceptance of guilt or a show of respect? But what I would say is, if Dele Farotimi decide to apologize, it would be good if he states it clearly in that apology for people to know. Is it that you are apologizing because you have said that what you did is wrong and Afe did not commit some of the atrocities that you allege that he committed, or you are just apologizing so that there can be peace, just as a sign of respect? But one thing is certain: what is written, and what is known is known. Dele Farotimi has written that book. That book is in the hands of so many people. So what is written in that book cannot be changed, because people have hard copies, people have digital copies, and the matter took a global dimension when Dele Farotimi was arrested, because everybody in the world got to know about that particular case at that point. It was all over the news. It was making the headlines. So by virtue of that, what is in that book is known, and what is known is known. It cannot be changed except there is a superior fact or a contrary opinion, either by the court of law or by Dele Farotimi that wrote the book. If the court says Dele Farotimi is guilty, can we then imagine that, okay, what Dele Farotimi is wrong, what Dele Farotimi wrote is wrong, and if Dele Farotimi himself comes out to debunk it, that, oh, sorry, while I was writing the book, I was high on beer or weed. Would that be the case? Because Dele Farotimi asserted that he is already preparing for his defense when Charlie Boy visited him. One thing is certain, in all of this, Dele Farotimi is the one that gains the most, because maybe Afe did not see it coming that people will criticize him or will come against him, because that case moved Dele Farotimi from being a star to a superstar, because the public support was so unprecedented. Nobody saw that kind of support coming. Imagine, people have always used their high-handedness, whether rightly or wrongly, against people that they can use it against. And you saw the recent case of this Akpi speed Darlington against Burna Boy, how he was remanded in detention for over a month. So people did not see that people will protest in favor of Dele Farotimi. So Afe made Dele Farotimi a superstar. Dele Farotimi was more already like a star anyway, because people know him. It's just that the people that know him are the people that are interested in maybe politics, based on his political commentary and some of the lifestyle philosophies that he dishes out. But then the people that are not even interested in politics at all got to know Dele Farotimi. So Afe, was impactful in Dele's life, despite the fact that he at that point in time seek to crush Dele Farotimi. Another point that comes to mind before we go is that Afe Babalola withdrew the case against Dele Farotimi. This is the same affair that wrote to the legal disciplinary committee that Dele Farotimi should be debarred. And that's one thing you need to look at, because the step that Afe took at that point in time was to crush Dele Farotimi. So for Afe to have just come up now and just, with a soft tone say, I will withdraw the case, your action at the beginning doesn't show that you will ever soft pedal, because Dele Farotimi was whisked away to Ekiti. He was brought to court in a Black Maria on handcuffs. His bail application was first denied. There were letters written to the legal disciplinary committee that he should be disbarred from being a lawyer. So different actions were taken. But shout out to Afe Babalola for at least being an elder and at least listening to people. It's an evolving story. We wait for the action of Dele Farotimi in this regard. It's been an interesting time with you on this episode of Politics with Dr. Omoshola Deji. Dr. Deji is a political scientist with a PhD in political science. This is where we relate to dissect politics and happenings in the politics. Subscribe, turn on your notification button. See you in my next video. I love you all sincerely.